You announced the signing of El Neni yesterday. What role will he play in the team this year? What are his strengths, do you think?
He's a midfielder, defensive midfielder who can contribute in an area where we at the moment we are short. And he's as well a young, promising player who is already adapted into Europe. He's not straight from Egypt to England. He has played 3 years in Switzerland, and I expect him to develop with us into a very strong player, because he has both sides of the game, can defend and can attack, and that's the way we want to play in midfield.
And is he in contention for this weekend, and is anyone else added to
He's available for selection. I haven't decided yet. I have to see a little bit how everybody recovered. Apparently we have no injuries from the Liverpool game, so it's a possibility that he's in the squad on Sunday.
And is anyone else coming back? No, Thomas Ruzicki's back.
The other question mark is about Sanchez. He has 2 decisive days, today and tomorrow. He's fit, worked very hard. The decision that we have to make is to take a gamble or not on his injury.
And it's Stoke away, of course, on Sunday, a place where you've struggled recently. Do you think you're better equipped this year to go there and get a victory?
Look, we have, of course, had difficulties at Stoke. We have a good record against us in the recent years, but I must say as well, we have overall a good home record against United, City, against the big teams. They've done very well. They've moved forward as well because they have improved their creative potential with players like Arnautovic, Afellay, Shaqiri, Boyan. They can create, they can play. But it's a good challenge for us as well, because they have to maintain their record, and we can show that we have made big step forward and can beat them. And it's an opportunity, of course, we want to take.
Arsene, hello. Do you think you'll look back on that Liverpool game come the end of the season as maybe a really good point on the way towards the title, or 2 points dropped? I mean, you got the same number of points as City, for example, who were playing at home, didn't you?
Look, let's not... I don't know how we will look at this point, but let's be honest, we came out of a game and looked at it like 2 points drop, because we were 1 minute away from taking 3 points. On the other hand, we were a bit under pressure in the final 20 minutes without giving too many chances away. But my regret comes from 3-2. At 3-2, we had 2-3 good opportunities to kill them off, and that we didn't take. But overall, for me personally, it's a positive team performance. And what is the most important is that we look like a real team who is up for the fight. And above the result, what is more important is that the team has shown that we are a real team, and we are ready in every single game to fight for a positive result.
Defensively away from home, you've been pretty good this season, but are there any concerns? Last 2 games, that's 7 goals now conceded.
Yeah, of course. We were quite... We have periods in the season where overall, I must say 90% of the time, we are very solid defensively, but in these 2 occasions, we suddenly looked vulnerable defensively. We have, doesn't look a special reason, but at Southampton, I think we were a bit jaded after the Man City game. At Liverpool, maybe we lacked a little bit calmness and decision. When you play against Benteke, maybe we should have moved out of the box, because it's difficult to win a header on a long ball against him. Little details where we have to work on and improve.
Is Stoke perhaps as much a mental test for your players as a physical test, because you haven't done well?
It's a similar test to Liverpool, basically, and where on our side we'll need the same intensity again 4 days later, and the same desire and focus again, because what we learn in this Premier League, every week you think, oh, how many surprises we have seen today, that will not happen again. And the week after, it happens again, and again and again, since the start of the season. So that shows you that the consistency of your focus, the consistency of your determination will certainly play a big part in the outcome of this league.
It's 10 years now since you signed Theo Walcott. It seems amazing that it's that long. How important a player is he for you, Arsene, and how do you reflect on his decade here at the club?
Well, Walcott came at 16 years of age and went straight to the World Cup without having played a Premier League game. So it could have gone both ways. And I feel the credit I have to give to him is that he dealt very well with that early fame and kept always his feet on the ground, was always very humble and receptive to advice. He had ups and downs because he had bad injuries, and that made him much stronger mentally. And today I believe that he has become much more a team player, conscious of his contribution to the teamwork. His basic strength is still there, because what I liked when I saw him first was his movement of the ball. One of the few strikers who has a good movement of the ball, the timing is right, the areas where he goes, the quality of his reception is very good, and he has developed well as a technical player, as a team player, and today is a much better finisher, much better in assists than he was before, and much more reliable in his teamwork.
Is his best yet to come, do you think?
Yeah, the next 4 or 5 years will be absolutely decisive for him, because that's where you make your career. Between 26 and 31, 32, that's where a good player becomes a great player, or just remains a good player.
2 more goals for Olivier Giroud. He's actually got the best goals per minute ratio in the Premier League for anyone who scored more than 5 goals. Do you think he's still underestimated?
Not in my opinion, but overall I think that will not, if it exists, it will not last, because people never deny evidence. If he continues to develop as a player and continues to score goals, he will be rated like he deserves to. I don't know one player in my life who has been underrated his whole career.
Lastly from me, we're halfway through the transfer window. You've got one deal over the line. How hopeful are you of turning that into 2 or more?
Ideally, personally, I would prefer to have the players back from injuries, like Welbeck, for example, who has been out since April last year and is now 2-3 weeks away. And I'm confident that I will not find a better player than Welbeck today on the market. So if you give me the choice, I would prefer to have all my injured players back, and after going to the end of the season with everybody available.
El Neni is a versatile midfielder. What's your intention for him long term? Will it be more defensive, given what you've hinted at in this press conference?
I bought El Neni because he can play with a defensive player, and as well he can be the defensive player. Where will his ultimate strengths be? I need to know more about him, on daily contact, to see how well he can win the ball in the Premier League as well. That will be decisive to transform him into more defensive or much more box-to-box player.
When you played Stoke at the start of the season, you had 29 attempts on goal, and you admitted at the end of the game, Arsene, you were disappointed to only win 2-0. Do you believe Arsenal are sharper now, given the form of players like Olivier Giroud?
I would say Stoke is sharper, because when we played against them, we were a bit in a difficult patch and had some bad injuries, but since they have developed well and moved well forward in the league and had some convincing results, and I'm convinced that both teams have moved forward since.
Claudio Ranieri this week said that he would like the Premier League to allow more substitutes on the bench, more than the 7 that are currently allowed. What's your opinion on that? Would it be more useful to you as a manager?
We need to buy 2 coaches to travel. But no, I think I have enough opportunities. Let's not forget, because of my age, I played football. We had no substitution at all, so now we have 7 available, and that looks to me enough. Sometimes I would say, when you go into a cup final, you'd like to have your whole squad being rewarded and be on the bench. You know, special occasions maybe. Overall, week in, week out, I think 7 is enough.
And finally from me, with Real Madrid's imminent transfer ban, do you believe that the market might have a spike in the next few weeks? Will they look to maybe sign more players, and will that impact on other clubs as well?
No, I thought a bit like that when I heard that news, but straight away they will appeal. The appeal will cancel the ban, and they will be allowed to buy in the next 2 transfer windows like they did before. And that's what will happen.
Arsene, when you look at the top of the Premier League table, is it your thinking that the Leicester bubble will burst at any minute?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I thought they might not last. I have changed my opinion today because their remarkable consistency makes them one of the contenders. When the bubble bursts, as you say, most of the time it's before Christmas or during a Christmas period. They didn't. And so I believe that you have to count Leicester.
And just finally from me, an awful lot of alleged scandals in sport at the moment, the last month or so, what with what's happening at the top of football, what's happening at the top of athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And we even have a South African cricketer who's apparently been involved in a match-fixing scandal this week. I mean, what are sports fans to make of what's going on at the moment? What message do you have for them?
The message is that we have all to fight against doping, because you and I celebrated super champions who were in fact maybe only cheats. And when you're in sport, you suffer when you don't win. So at least you want to know that the guy who wins is better than you without cheating. And I said many times that in sport we celebrated heroes who were in fact only cheats. And we have to make sure that altogether that doesn't happen. In football for a long time we ignored absolutely doping. And I think I alerted a few times the authorities. I've been interviewed because of that, because I spoke in my press conference against doping, and I will maintain that. And I think for a long time we're maybe too neglecting the problem. And now I think UEFA, FIFA, they will tackle the problem really seriously in the coming years.
And Nini grew up in a football family. His father was amazing, and Nini grew up in a football family. His father was an amazing player.
Oh yes?
Yes, he's a coach.
I
now.
didn't know that.
Yes, I know his father. His father is
Can you still play? Or is coach?
No, he's a coach now. He's a coach. Do you think this will help him to do what you're asking him? My second question, a lot of Middle Eastern fan is feeling down from the Arsene. When they try to welcome Nini, they wrote it in a bad way. Like you said in England, in France, Bonjour, they said jour bon. Do you have anything to say to the Arabic fan, because they feel down from what they wrote in the website of Arsenal?
Why? What?
Arsenal, when they wrote in Arabic to welcome Nini, they wrote it in a bad way. So,
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. We didn't want to offend anybody. You know, if we did, I say really sorry on behalf of the club, because we might not have Arabic writers, specialists, but I think we respect. The best way to show respect is to give him enough credit to make him come to Arsenal. And so I think the Egyptian fans should be proud of El Neni first, because through his quality and his work, his dedication, he managed to get a transfer like that. And on our side, I think we've shown once again that no matter where you come from, if we think you're good enough, you get a chance, and that's what we did with El Neni.
What about his background and his? Do you think this will help him?
The father being a coach can help me, you know, can as well go against me if he thinks I do the wrong things with his son, but I'm sure he will give him the good advice.
Two quick ones from me. First of all, Sanchez coming back and Arsenal notoriously having a good second half of the season. Do you think this is an extra weapon which is going to make Arsenal, this Arsenal's year?
That's our intention at the moment. We are beginning of January. We are in a strong position in the league. We are qualified in the Champions League. You can say we have an easy draw, and we are still in the FA Cup. So overall, we are in a position where we can make of our season a fantastic season. And the fact that we have the injuries coming back, yes, will help.
And regarding Stoke, you've talked about the difficulties you've had with them in the past, but you're now playing them at your game. Are you more comfortable playing Stoke at the game that you like to play than the way they used to play?
They're a bit more our style, but I think looking at the results they make against a big team, they have maybe more consistency technically as well to face the kind of opposition we are. We'll see that on Sunday, but overall I think even on the possession front today they can fight with anybody. Stoke. They out from the back. They improved a lot in the quality of their build-up game.
Arsene, the last time you went to Stoke, at the end of the game, you and the team got a bit of stick on the track.
Got a nice reception at the station.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the mood around the club's very different now, but how difficult was that for you at the time to cope with?
Look, I took it as people were upset because we lost the game and didn't take it personally. It was my function, and the fact that I'm responsible for the results of the club that was attacked, and not so much I didn't take it as my person, you know. And I was sad and upset more by the result than by the individual reactions of people, who I can understand. When you love a club, you want the results to be positive. It's a more common thing now, maybe, and I believe personally it will be the problem in the coming years. That problem I see it observing in Europe. It exists a lot in France, these enchanted people coming out, having an aggressive behavior. It might be one of the problems that football has to face in the coming years. And you see it in many countries now, more and more.
Would you have to change the way you travel to matches?
No, I don't know. You know, we travel like we just think is the best and the shortest way. And you want as well not to be isolated too much, because you want contact with people who love the club. You want contact with people who love with the fans. But I see in France, especially now in the last 2-3 weeks, many problems occurred with disappointing results on that front.
Are you taking a train this weekend?
Yes.
No worries about that.
No.
Thanks, everyone.